And we are live. What's good, Joshua Man DL saying how y'all feeling? Welcome to the Downrange Podcast, man. I know I've been missing y'all. I've been gone for about a week. I used the storm as an excuse to just lay low for a hot second. So I did. We had a storm hit. I took my daughter to her mom, and that was that. That was that. Just checking the sound real quick, making sure we are good. Um, yeah, you guys know, do my own. Glad everyone is here. So today's show, can America provide and can Americans pay for the American dream? Or is it too expensive? Or are we too broke? I don't know, man, but we gonna get into it. Check this out, y'all. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Yes. We got an intro, man. We got an intro. Shout out to my people, Shushu, who put that together. She is a beast, guys. If you guys need any kind of editing done, anything like that, holla at Shamaria Shushu. She will be here Thursday. We're gonna have her here. We're gonna be talking about some stuff, man. We're gonna be talking about some I really want to know stuff, some relationship stuff, and all that. But she did that intro, man. I hope y'all like that. I hope y'all like that because I know I do. I like it a lot. Yeah, man, we definitely want to talk about what's going on with the economy, man. Can Americans afford the American dream? Dr. B is in the building. What's good, Dr. B underscore 84, man? What's up, man? We'll see you in October, man. We got something in the works. We got something in the mix, bro. It's gonna be nice, man. I'll let you know when it's done. We'll probably make a little commercial and everything. In Brickell, the weekend of CME, I'm just gonna leave it there for now, but the new Templars got something for everybody, man. We got something for everybody. But Dr. B is up in here. He say he really he's here early, but it's his week off from work. That's what's up, man. Enjoy that week, man. And the weather's nice, man. Enjoy that week, man. Get after it. We got Young Knights in the building, man. Brother Jackson in the building. What's good, fam? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Brother Ted's up in this piece. What's good, man? Good to see you. And Dr. B's like, yeah, I'll be in Miami then. I know, bro. I'm telling you, we got something lined up, man. It's just gonna be all right, bro. It's just gonna be all right, man. So thanks for popping in, guys. Thanks for rocking out with me. I appreciate everybody who was reaching out to me when I got missing. I'm here. I'm good. We good. My daughter's right downstairs. Actually, my little girl decided she wants to be a Twitch streamer. So her and her friends are trying to figure out how to do it. I'm like, fine. You want to be on Twitch? Fine. Clean your room. And guess what? That room is getting clean. It's amazing when kids want something, what they'll do. So yeah. And don't worry, guys. You guys like, your daughter's gonna be on Twitch. Oh no. Trust me. I'll be right there watching everything she does. I'll be in that chat hunting. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. Even the FAA is in the building. What's good? We watching. Y'all can watch all y'all want. FAA. I'm done. I'm done. So yeah, and again, one more just one more shout out for Shushu on her editing work. She is amazing. Look forward to having her here Thursday. That's going to be a later show. We're going to come on actually at 7:30, I believe. We're going to go on at 7:30 that night. But just be looking for the thumbnail. It's going to be cool. Glad you guys are here. And again, thank you so much for looking for me. People are like, where you at, bro? What's going on, bro? Did you get blown away by the storm? Like, nah. That storm was nothing, y'all. It blew through here where I'm sitting in Tampa. It was just another storm. It wasn't even a bad thunderstorm, to be honest with you. It happened in the middle of the night. There was some storm surging. So I guess you say the surge or surges. I don't even know the proper tense for that. But anyone who was on the coastal areas, anyone who's living on the water, the surge came and it was pretty big. Some places there were reports of almost 6 feet of water. Some places. Like, there are places where the streets were completely submerged, but it didn't stay that way for long. So as far as hurricanes go, it wasn't bad at all. At all. It's like, yeah, FA is like, wow, the hurricanes at night. I don't know, man. I guess they don't want to come in the daytime. But yeah, that one wasn't bad at all. But trust and believe we're gonna get hit with a nasty one before the hurricane season is over this year. That's my personal belief. The water is really warm. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, man, let's talk about this, man. Is the average American broke? According to the manosphere, according to YouTube, according to Instagram, yeah, we are. If you ain't out popping bottles every night, if you're not driving a Lamborghini or a Rolls Royce, if you're not wearing $500,000 around your neck, right? If you're not wearing a, $100,000 Hermes Birkin bag, yeah, I guess we're broke. So if you use that as a matrix, then yeah, America's in trouble. I don't use it as a matrix, as some sort of barrier or bar or of achievement. Because yeah, I don't. I know people who can afford those things, but most of the people I know who buy those things have a lot of money. They have discretionary funds, and the money that they use to buy those toys is money that they don't count on. It's just money that came from wherever, and they just use it to buy watches, bags, cars, properties, you name it. They'll do it. So yeah, I don't look at social media and gauge what the rest of the country is doing, but I do look at what's really going on out here. So we got a few videos queued up, I should say. And we're gonna just look at some stuff, man, because I don't know how long this can last. Like it is what it is. So this first video is from a YouTube channel, Proud Money, and they talk about the average salary in America. And I think this is a good video. I think this is a real good video. So we're gonna start here with this video. Hey, we got Sister Candace in the building. What's good, sis? How you feeling? Good to see you. I hope you are well, man. I hope you and your husband are doing great. There's talk, there are rumors, another government shutdown might be around the corner. Man, I hate when they do that. It seems they do that every cycle now, man. Every cycle. I wish the politicians would do the job that they swore to do. But good to see you, sis. I hope all is well. Everything is well on this end. We have that new trailer. I know a lot of you guys weren't here when I hit that trailer. So we have an intro now, guys. We have an intro. I'm going to play it for you guys right now before we get started, just in case y'all missed it. So check out this intro. Let me know what y'all think. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Right, baby, get some. There it is, right there. That's the new intro. Let's give that a shout out. Oh, wrong button. Let's give that a shout out. And that's a shout out to Shoo for doing that work, man. I think that was fire. I hope y'all enjoyed that. We got an outro too. You're gonna have to wait to the end of the show to see that. But and shout out to Grio's Vision, who did a lot of that footage for me in Miami months ago. Look forward to seeing that brother again. But yeah, guys, we're trying to step it up slowly but surely. Slowly but surely, we're trying to step it up. So so this video we're gonna watch, it's just a few months old. There's no getting around it. He talks about where he gets his data. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I get his point. We're gonna get into what the average American is actually making. And it's funny, if you look at social media or you're in the manosphere, you talk to certain folks, it blows their mind. Not just the people who, are on the whatever podcasts of the world or the Fresh and Fits of the world, or, I'm just folks who come from different bubbles. If you talk to folks in New York on Wall Street, if you talk to people in LA who are in the music movie business, or people in the music business wherever they are, like Chicago or wherever, and you talk about what the average American makes, it blows their mind. It depends on the bubble you're in, right? If you're in flyover country, yeah, it makes sense to them. But if you're anywhere near or in a big city, it blows their mind when they see how much the average American makes. So let's check out this video, guys. Let's check this out. Here we go.
From ProudMoney.com, what is the average salary in the United States? That is what we are going to look at in this video. We're going to look at it from the sort of top level average salary, and then we're going to break it down by things like age, race, sex, type of job, all of that good stuff. The numbers that I'm using here are coming from the Bureau of Labor Statistics from the first quarter of 2023. Now, while we're saying average salary in this video, we're sort of using average to mean typical salary, not the mathematical average. We'll actually technically be using the median, which means 50% are above and 50% are below. So we're targeting that person right in the middle of the whole group. And we'll get back to the sort of mathematics in a bit, but median makes more sense when we're talking about the sort of typical person. So let's look.
That's a very, very important point that he's making there. Like, you have to make those distinctions, like, because we all know what the average is. Like, the average, you take all the numbers, you add all the numbers up and you divide it by how many numbers you had there. That number will give you the average. We all learned that. Well, most of us probably learned that in school. I'm not sure what they're teaching kids these days. Well, I am sure what they're teaching kids these days. They're not teaching them much, right? I see it every day. But you have to make that distinction between median and average. Because, people say, well, we can find the average income. Like, all right, well, there's like 400 some odd million people in America. Not all of them work. You have to, there are people who are too young to work, but some who are young still do work. And there are people too old to work. They might be retired. You count pension, then you have people who are homeless. You have all these other factors. So could it be done? Yeah, it can be done. Would it be 100% accurate? No, but you can, let's say we're going to use 300 million Americans and we're going to figure out the average. So you add up how much those 300 million Americans are making divided by 300 million, and then you'll get your average income. But he touches on this later, because how much people are making at the top will really bump the average up, right? So, and we all know that there's a huge disparity. Shout out to Andrew Tate, the have-nots versus the have-yachts. The have-yachts are really getting it these days. The have-nots are really struggling, in my opinion, to get it, and it is what it is. Miss AKA ladies in the building. What's good, fam? How you doing, love? Good to see you. So yeah, that's a real important distinction, the median versus the average. Let's continue.
Look at the numbers. So without further ado, the average annual salary in the United States here in 2023 is $57,200. Now, that includes all full-time workers from age 16 and up. If we want to set a little bit differently, to take out the very youngest workers who are presumably making significantly less than if we looked at age 25 and above, the average annual salary would be $60,060. Now, going back to that 57,200 number, if we look back 5 years, in 2018, the average annual salary was $45,812 by comparison. So,
I mean, like I said, this is pretty good information. When you look at the average salary, again, we're talking median. We're not talking the mathematical average, talking about the median salary. And he's talking about individuals, not household. $57,200. And then it talks about for those, the average of those 25 years and older, $60,060 a year. And then the average 5 years ago was $45,812. So you look at that, you're like, wow, 5 years ago, the average person was making, or the median person was making $45,812. And now the salary is $57,200. Or if you look at the 25 and up crowd, $60,060 a year. Wow, that's a huge increase. Yeah, but how much stuff can you buy? Right? Shout out to George Gammon. When you talk about inflation and the effect that inflation has on money, it's how much stuff can you buy with your currency? you can afford way less stuff today than you could 5 years ago, even though you're getting more money. It's just the purchasing power of your money isn't there. And that is a huge problem. So he's going to talk about that here in a second as well. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? Scam Likely's in the building, brother Dust, though. What's good, man? Dust, shout out to you. Can I get some podcasts in the building? What's good, fam? Salute to you, man. Can't wait to work with you, man. We're gonna make that happen soon. I'm getting back on track. I got some catching up to do. But definitely, bro, we're gonna make that happen. I'm looking forward to it. In fact, I might have to reach out to you, man. I'm trying to work out a show. We're gonna talk about some law enforcement stuff, man. I'm gonna have former law enforcement people on here, and that might be a show, bro. I would love to have you sit on, man. Just get that OG perspective. So, but shout out to you, bro. So, that's a very important distinction, right? How much money does it take to buy stuff, right? That is a huge thing. I keep messing up the camera, y'all. How much money does it take to buy stuff, and how much stuff can you get with that money, right? So I'm trying to center the camera, guys. Supposed to get Denzel in there. My bad. I should have did this earlier. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do this later. I'm gonna take care of this later. My bad. Let's get back to let's get back to it. Yeah, let's get back to it. Let's check it out.
Things have increased almost a full 25% since then on average, which is fairly significant. Now, obviously, we've had some inflation over that period as well, but you can see that income has gone up also. Quick note here, the Bureau of Labor Statistics actually reports these numbers on a weekly basis, the weekly average. So I am taking the weekly average of 1,100 and multiplying it by 52 to come up with that 57,200 number that I told you about as the average for all workers. Now let's break those numbers down further. And before we do that, I just want to say that the labels I am going to be using for various groups of people are ones that I got from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So if you don't like how a certain group is being described, don't talk to me, talk to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The first way we will break things down is men versus.
That part kills me. Everyone is so afraid to just talk, man, and use words. These aren't my words. These are the words coming from the government. So if you don't like the way it's broken down, if you don't like it when they say man or woman, and they don't use pronouns, or if they say black, white, Asian, you know, if they say Hispanic versus Latino or Latinx or whatever, it's not my fault, man. People, boy, oh boy, we need to do something about that, y'all. Hey, listen, and I'm a comic too. I tell folks at the beginning of my shows now, like, hey, if you're easily offended, leave now. You've been warned. It's on camera. Like, you've been warned. If you are easily offended, do not go to a grown-up comedy show. Go to one of those comedy shows for kids where there's like no swearing and all that kind of stuff, and they whitewash the content. Because if you come see me, it's gonna be very graphic. I don't pull any punches. Ain't no kids allowed. Yeah. So people in their words, boy, I swear. Let's keep going.
Women on average, men earn $61,672 per year, while women earn $51,792.
Patriarchy.
When we break things down by race and ethnic groups, whites earn $58,760 on average. African American, $46,072. Hispanic or Latino, $45,136, and Asian, $76,336 on average.
Y'all see them numbers right there? Y'all see them numbers? Man, oh man, our Asian brothers and sisters are killing it. The median income for an Asian American, $76,336 a year, versus Hispanic and Latino, $45,136 a year. And then, you got black folks, $45,136 a year. That's for Hispanics and Latino. For black and African American, you're looking at $46,072. And for Caucasian, like white folks, $58,760 a year. So again, these numbers are coming from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I mean, just the median income, right? Not the average, but the median. These are people like right in the middle. Asians are killing it. They are absolutely killing it. And then before we had the numbers where men are out earning women, and I made that quick comment, oh, the patriarchy. But again, it's just raw data. They're not looking at what type of job it is versus hours worked and all that kind of stuff. They're just, this guy says they make this woman says that they make that much, and that's what it is. We can gladly get into that pay gap discussion at another time. But it is what it is. Brother Cody's Kings in the building. What's good, man? It's like, imagine being such a pussy. You need to specify you didn't choose the terms men and women. Bro, they out there, bro. They are out there, man. I would like to believe it's slowing down, but I don't know. And I think what's going to change that is if the economy as things get tougher, all this unnecessary stuff falls off, in my opinion. No one's going to care about your gender if they can't feed their families, right? So they want to go out there and eat. No one's going to care about the WNBA making as much money as the men in the NBA. No one's going to care. No one's going to care about any of that stuff if our economy crashes, if the dollar crashes. And I'm not a doom and gloomer. I'm just trying to figure it out like everyone else. But hey, who knows what tomorrow brings? The good news is America and the dollar controls the world. So as the dollar goes, so does the rest of the world. So it's not like if the dollar were to get bad, like inflation continues to get worse and whatever, it's not like it's only going to hurt Americans and, the South Africans and the Indians and, people in Brazil and Russia is going to be fine. Right. So notice I mentioned those countries where I talk about those BRICS countries. I don't think BRICS is going to do anything, but anyway, like it's just noise. If the dollar goes, the rest of the planet goes. All right. So that's just how it is. My take on it right there. It is what it is. And Dr. B is like, man, these Asians out here getting money. Yes, they are, Miss K lady. I feel like stunned. Ain't that impressive? Folks be stunned with maxed out credit. Yep. Maxed out credit cards, no saving, and behind no bills. And it's only getting worse. Miss AKA knows what she's talking about. She's in that field, y'all. I'm gonna have to get her on this platform and really talk because I'm curious. I really want to know what the banks and lending institutions are doing. Like, I want to know what credit scores they're looking for now. I want to know how tightly they're watching, your past history and what's being offered at what terms. I'm real curious to know that. But yeah, people are behind on bills. Can't pay my rent because all my money spent, but I stay fly. Yeah, for real. And brother Cody, Phil shouldn't come into play when replaying. Yeah, when relying on data. The world is silly today. Yes, sir. I believe you there, bro. But there's the breakdown right there. Asian Americans are killing it. Caucasian Americans doing their thing. And then, Black Americans and Latinos are pretty much right there. I mean, Black Americans, the average is the median $46,072 and the median Hispanic $45,136. Real close. And I'm not sure the Bureau of Labor Statistics, I think they count everyone. I don't think they care about legal status and all that. I think we'll have to go and check that out. I'm not sure, but they're just seeing who makes what. But let's continue.
If we break things down by education level, college graduates earning significantly more on average at $84,292. High school graduates without college or with some college, $45,968 on average. And those without a high school diploma working full-time on average, $35,464.
Man, those numbers, again, they're not breaking that down by race, gender, or anything else. So we all know if you go to college, you're going to earn more over your lifetime of employment. So college graduates making more money, almost $100,000 a year. Look at that. The average college student, again, it's average. There's some kids coming out of college making way less, and there's some kids coming out of college making way more. High school diploma, almost $46,000 a year just coming out of high school doing whatever it is you're doing. And no high school diploma, $35,464. You got to stay in school. You got to learn these things. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. So let's continue.
Looking at these numbers by age, if you are between 25 and 34 years old, the average U.S. salary, $52,936 for your age group. And then things get a big bump up from 35 up all the way through retirement age. And actually, the numbers are pretty similar. 35 to 44, it's $63,596. From 45 to 54, $64,428. From 55 to 64, $63,336. Now, I didn't include any stats for those who are under 25 because the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the numbers they give are a little muddy. And again, we're going all the way back from age 16 potentially up to age 24. So there's going to be a lot of difference in that area as well. The Bureau of Labor Statistics also tries to break the numbers down sort of by occupation, but their sort of words they use are so broad, it's kind of hard to know exactly how to cut them up. But I will say that what we think of as traditionally sort of white collar jobs are going to make the most. What they call management, professional, and related occupations, 79,612 as an average. And then a lot of the other classifications are sort of strange, but I will mention that for service workers, as they call them there, $36,972, so significantly less than the average overall, even though maybe we think that service workers are doing better now than they were pre-pandemic. You can see that the numbers are still significantly less. And then in terms of the place where people make the least, farming, fishing, and forestry occupations at $32,864. Now, it's very possible that you want to get a little more granular when it comes to how you rank against all the other full-time workers in the U.S., so we will try to do that a little closer. So if you wanted to be in the top 10% of workers in terms of your salary, you would have to make at least $141,336 to break the top 10%. If you want.
So, and this is something that, especially in the manosphere and all that, if you're watching Fresher Fit or whatever podcast, or here recently, if you're watching Michael Certain on Men of Action, because, he's out in Vegas, they have a table full of women and they talk about how much money they want their potential husband or significant other to make. And you hear numbers like $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year, right? Before we get into the hype, before we get into the fitness part of it, this is the first things that, the first numbers that come out are way up there. So when people talk about six figures, 6 figures, 6 feet, 6 pack, most folks think, oh, like right at $100,000. Like, no, if you want to be in the top 10%, $141,000, right? If you're making over $100,000, I believe that still puts you in the top 15% of earners in America. So look at that. Look at that. Like, if you go by this, and this is the matrix, that top 10%, right? This is what people are always talking about. The vast majority of Americans aren't there. The top 25 percentile is $91,052 a year. Like, think about that. That's the top 25%. Right. And the median is $57,200. So the average American is bringing in about $50,000-$60,000. You probably figure anywhere from 57,000 up to maybe 67,000 or something like that is where the average American is going to fall in. And again, depending on what part of the country they live in, that will tell you how much purchasing power they have. But wherever they're living today, that purchasing power is way less now than it was, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and so on. The bottom 25% is under $30,000, $29,848. So look at that. Look at that. I mean, look at that. You feel me? 90% of Americans are under $141,000 a year. 90% of Americans are under that threshold. And how much is a house these days? Right? How much does it cost to get a car? Remember back in the day, I can remember back in the 80s and 90s, Yeah, I can remember in like the mid to late 90s, you can get a car. You could buy a car that worked that can, is reliable to get you from A to B, like a Honda or a Toyota or something like that. You can get you a car for like $5,000. 10 grand. 10 grand would be like a nice truck. This was back in Ohio. You can go to an auction with $10,000 cash and you can ride out of there with something that's gonna last you 2, 3, 4 years. Just do your normal maintenance and stuff like that. You can get you a little bucket or who ride or whatever you want to call it, right? You can get you a bucket for like $1,200, $1,500. Now, I don't even know if that's possible. Purchasing power. What can that money buy you? So the people in the top 10% right here making $141,000 a year, they don't have the purchasing power that they would have had at that amount 5, 10, 15 years ago. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Brother Cody is saying, I read that. Miss A.K. is saying, it's crazy how excessive debt and bad credit don't faze most people. You would be surprised. Too much debt should make you uncomfortable, but folks don't care. Yeah, because we've been encouraged to spend. You know what I mean? Hey, keep on. It's cool to keep up with the Joneses. Put it, credit. Credit's not about what you have. It's, put it on the card. Everybody be doing that. And it is what it is. And Dr. B is saying, the women always say 6 figures or more automatically. Yeah, women say that. They want a guy who's making like 6 figures. A lot of women are out there getting close to 6 figures on their own. So, and again, if you believe in hypergamy, if you believe, which I do, I think all people want to get the best they can get. You're going to want someone that makes more than you. And if you're making $80,000, $90,000, that means that guy's going to be making $100,000. Now, there are a lot of women out there that I know personally that you ask them, I want my man to make $150,000 a year. Like, well, how much do you make? They're like the bottom 15% of earners. and like Miss AKA lady said, and bad with their money. Ton of debt. You know what I mean? A whole lot of overhead, but they looking good though. You know what I'm saying? They shoes red on the bottom. They doing all that. Miss AKA. So he's saying the ladies should stop asking for the general 6 figures. 150,000 plus is the new requirement. Yep. Get your paper up, fellas. Facts. I mean, get your paper up, get your game up. You don't have to necessarily, when it comes to the game, when it comes to womanizing, you don't necessarily have to have the money. But if you can make people think you have the money, you can smash. If your goal is to just hit, you can absolutely hit it. You know what I mean? If you out there, you look the part, you out there kicking in, like I said, you know how to keep your mouth shut and just give that persona that you the man, she gonna want to holler at you. Yeah, and Dr. B is like, yeah, and 100,000 plus is the top 15% of all earners, men, women, married, etc. Yeah. So yeah, single, it's even less. Yeah, but that's where he's the top 10% of earners. Single earners is 141,000. Man, that's crazy. And Miss Kaylee is saying 2 years ago car rates were like 2 to 3% base. Now it's like 6 to 8% base. Wow. Today's car note for a regular vehicle is equal to old luxury vehicle prices. It's crazy and tough on the regular person. Yeah, I'll say almost impossible for the regular person because you're trying to juggle rent and or a mortgage is going to be around $2,000 a month. And in a car, you're going to go out there and get yourself like a Honda or Toyota or something like that, just like a regular vehicle, Kia, Hyundai, whatever. And you're going to be spending close to $1,000 a month. And that's if you have the down, because now I know banks are getting real tight on that. So if you got good credit, they're going to let you get the car, favorable terms, but you're going to be paying like $1,000 a month or close to it. And they're going to run it out. It's not like you're getting 36 months, right? It's going to be like 40 something, 52 months or something. It's going to be something crazy. So, yeah, it's crazy, y'all. Let's continue the video.
Wanted to be in the top 25%, the top 1 quarter, $91,052 as your yearly salary. And then I already said that the 50% mark is $57,200. And then if you make under $29,848, that would put you in the lowest 25%. I'll put a link down below to the Bureau of Labor Statistics if you want to take a look at those numbers for yourself. They're not always the most user-friendly, but if you're willing to do a little work, you can figure out what is what. Now, I do want to go back really quick to talk about the idea of average versus median. And when we talk about the average salary here, like I said, average in this case, I'm really using to mean more like typical. When we talk about the average American or the average worker, we're really saying the typical person. We're not necessarily using the mathematical term for average. So median is really what makes more sense when we're talking about typical, again, because half of the people are going to be above that median, half are below. So we're looking at right down the middle. Now, when we look at mathematical terms, median means what I just said. Average actually means the mean, which is you take all the numbers, you add them up, and then you divide by the number of people. So we would take all those salaries, add them up, and then divide by the number of people that we are talking about. But when you do that, those super duper duper rich people are going to skew the average to higher than what we would think of as the typical salary. So if we talk about the mean salary, it's going to look like people are doing better than they actually are because the Warren Buffetts and Bill Gateses of the world are going to be skewing that average up because they make so much money. So the median makes more sense. We're trying to cut right down the middle. So
I think that's hilarious. Like, I really dig this dude. Shout out to him, but he just reminds me of like every fifth grade teacher I ever had or ever saw in school. Like most of those elementary school teachers, is like the way that he comes across. It's like wants to be really clear. I think this dude would not have made it in the Airborne Army. Like, bro, get it out. Like, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? Sound off like you got a pair. But this is perfect for America. Dr. B is like, just FYI, average is not necessarily the median. True. And I know where you're coming from with that. And this is why he spends so much time on this point. You know, you get chewed. People chew you up on on social media, YouTube, in the comments. Well, you know, actually, da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, all right, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah, you win. Thank you. Appreciate it. So I guess you have to do these disclaimers. But let's let him finish his spiel.
So that is it. That gives you a little bit more of an opportunity to see where you fall when comparing yourself to all the other workers out there. Obviously, it's not getting you right down to your occupation and your exact age and all that kind of thing, but it kind of gives you an idea of what other people are making and where you might fall. Again, any questions, comments?
And I thought that was cool, man. I'm definitely going to drop this video in the description below. So, you know, if you guys are watching this on Team Replay, just jump into the description, hit it. And, you know, you'll be able to watch this and go check out Proud Money. You guys should definitely go over and check out his content. He talks a lot of good stuff. And, yeah, like and subscribe over there and support this brother. Like I say, he's very, very clear, which I thought was cool. Let's see. So now we know pretty much where the average American is, the typical American is when it comes to finances. So what does all this mean? Well, back to that American dream, which is always a house. Can the average American today afford the American dream? Well, y'all know I love Breaking Points, right? So got a video from Breaking Points on here. And I think it's a great video. And we definitely want to check this out. Shout out to Crystal and Saga. They really be doing work over there. I really dig them. I really do. They're good people. So let's check out this video. They talk about housing prices, mortgage rates hit historic highs. And, you know, I really like their points of view because, you know, they do sit opposite of each other. They're not extreme left or extreme right, but to me, they just like, they're right in a sweet spot and they make sense. So let's check them out.
But speaking of money and of real estate, it's weird because while the commercial sector is not doing well and there's all these issues on that side, at the same time, housing affordability has naturally been worse in the United States, especially given what's going on with interest rates. So let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen. The mortgage rate actually just this week hit a 23-year high. As Mortgage News Daily writes, quote, "Is there any hope?" And as they actually point to, we now have mortgage rates so high that we haven't seen them since 2001, near the dot-com era. I'll let you guess how exactly the price looked back 23 years ago and ask you whether it was maybe a tiny little bit affordable, even if the interest rate was high. We have not actually seen any aggregate decrease in price in real estate markets. In fact, the news just came out today, Crystal, that in 2/3 of all real estate markets, prices have never been higher for homes. So it's not that prices dropped for homes as mortgage rates continue to go sky high. It's just that they stopped growing as much as they did over the last decade or so, and in particular, the last 2 years. The underlying value, because of our lack of supply of housing, has actually not gone down. So the interest rate remains so high now that the math on some of these transactions really starts to boggle the mind. One tweet in particular put it in perspective. Let's go ahead and put this up there. Shows you, let's say you have a new mortgage math. You have a $1 million, this guy's from San Francisco, so that's why he's using these numbers, but it applies to everybody. Say you buy a $1 million house with $200K down at a 7% rate mortgage. That's an $800,000 loan. Over the first 3 years, you will pay $193,000 on this loan, $5,322 a month. That's a lot of money. After that $193,000 of payments for your $800,000 loan, the loan now stands at $774,500. You have paid $166,000 in interest and just $25,000 in principal. So
that right there is the cold math of it all. That is the cold math right there. Can the average person in California buy a home? Depends on their situation. If they're not already in a home, the answer is probably no, unless they're a vet. If they're a vet, there's the VA. So there's ways to get you into a home, but look at that right there. Like you said, it's $1 million house. People are like, well, come on, man. How many people are buying $1 million houses in California? A lot. The vast majority of the people out there are buying homes that are, anywhere between $750 to $1.8 million. And your home is probably bigger than their home. Just to give you an idea, from San Francisco, from NorCal all the way down to SoCal, it costs a lot of money. The numbers in the real estate market in LA is kind of like what Pimp C said about, the D game back in the day. It's like, if I told you cocaine numbers, you would think I was lying. If I told you real estate numbers in Cali, you would think I was lying. And New York ain't no better. DC, Chicago, even Miami. Like Miami, and I'm talking about Brickell, Wynwood, I'm talking like Bayside, anywhere down there, that downtown, South Beach, Brickell area, Edgewater. To get yourself a 2-bedroom condo in Miami right now, you're talking about maybe 1,000 square feet. Actually, just under 1,000 square feet. You're looking at $700,000. Honestly, that's what you're looking at. If you're looking at getting you a condo, a 2-bedroom or a 1-bedroom, like with a den or something like that, again, less than 1,000 square feet, you're looking at about 750,000. You might be able to squeak in an older building that's been around a while. Doesn't have as many amenities. Isn't it nice? You might be able to get in there for about 6.25. That's Miami. It's like that here in Central Florida. There are places, Hyde Park here in Tampa, $1 million homes, $1 million condos, downtown Tampa, downtown St. Pete, Clearwater, Channelside. Like, there are places here in Central Florida that gets up there as well. I think the average home in Tampa is right around 400,000 right now. And I can check that in a minute, but you see this, $1 million house, $200,000 down, right? $200,000 down. So, okay, yeah, you could be someone in Silicon Valley, someone's working up there, who's been working remotely or whatever, and you saved up the bread, but more likely people made a sale. They're counting on a sale from one home, and they're going to roll over hopefully some sort of profit into the new home. So that's where the 200 would normally come from. That's a lot of money. $200,000 down at 7%, right? At 7%. And dudes, like, over the first 3 years, He's paying almost $200,000. It's like he only paid the down payment, right? And that's like at $5,322 a month. It's a lot of money, right? And that's just the mortgage. We're not talking about any kind of association, because a lot of those places are gated. So you even though it's a home, standalone home, you still got association. Or if it's in like a building association and all that, that could be up to another $1,000 a month, another $12,000 a year. And you got California taxes and all the rest of it. Don't let something break. Like something breaks in there. Oh my goodness. So look at those numbers. Over the first 3 years, you're paying back $193,000 at $5,322 a month. Right? After those $193,000 of payments, your $800,000 mortgage is now at $774.5 thousand. So you went from financing $800,000 in over 3 years, you're down to $774,000. That's a lot of money. $166,000 in interest. That's $25,500 in principal, but $166,000 in interest. That's just the cold math of it all right there, y'all. That's the cold math. Can Americans afford that? In California, no. Absolutely not. If they're not already in a home, and if they're in a home, they're gonna have to stay. They're gonna have to stay. And if they move, if they sell that house, they gotta leave the state. Bottom line, where's they gotta sell the house, they gotta leave the state, put that, they come out to someplace like Florida and take that money and put it into a house or something like that. It's crazy. Let's continue.
As you can see from that, Crystal, the math here is just absolutely brutal. And yeah, like I said, the guy lives in San Francisco, so the numbers are very large, but that same math applies to anybody. You know, even if you're not taking out a jumbo mortgage, even if you're saying you're buying a $300,000 or $400,000 house, the proportion is not going to change. You're going to be paying vast majorities of your sums in the initial years straight to the bank in interest payments because the price of the asset remains so high. I mean, really, we have never seen housing less affordable than it is right now. And then worse, you know, not only is it not affordable, okay, 5 years, you know, most people, they're not even barely able to put up 20%. So let's take in, they're putting 5, maybe 10% down, something like that. And then 5 years from now, you know, they have a couple of kids. They're like, hey, I want to move. And you try to sell. You got no equity in your house. You have almost nothing. You're effectively renting it from the bank. Whenever you add on top of that, like property taxes and everything, you're renting it from the bank in the city. You got almost nothing in this house by yourself. So that strikes at the core and the bedrock of what the American dream was supposed to be.
And that part right there is what scares me. Right? When you go back to the housing bubble and how everything fell apart, why did people walk away from their homes? Well, they had no equity in the homes. They had no reason to fight to keep it because they had nothing. So if something were to go wrong with our housing market and people are like, hey, I don't have anything in this house that's keeping me here, so I'm just going to walk. Now we're going to do the whole 2008 housing bubble thing over again. Right now, of course, it wasn't identical. There's people who shouldn't have been approved in the first place. You know, the banks got out of control. They were just giving everybody money. The whole no job, no income, ninja loans type stuff, the predatory lending that was going on. They just telling people like, yeah, I want to live in this house. And, you know, it was horrible. But at the end of the day, why did they walk away from them homes? Because they had no equity in those homes. They're like, well, might as well just leave, cut my losses. And it's like what Miss AKA lady was saying earlier, they don't care about their credit. They don't care about their credit history. They don't care. They just walked away. So, and we're going to hear what Crystal has to say about it in a second. Ms. AKA is saying we are in an age where it's not just about cutting back on expenses. You have to have a plan to consistently increase your income every year to keep up with inflation. No one's doing that. I guarantee you no one's doing that. Most people don't even budget. I mean, they're not even thinking about it. It took us so long as a society to get to this point where everything is based on credit. You know, you got people walking down the street, they get off the bus and they're walking by a car lot. The salesman was like, hey, I could put you in a brand new Maserati right now. No money down. You know, you just 94 months, it'll be yours. Right? So people are like, yeah, sure. And then they lose the car 6 months in, a year and a half in, something like that, 18 months in, they lose a car, they lose their job or whatever. It's crazy. Miss AKA continues. Commercial mortgage rates are crazy. Today, the rate was 7.84%. Jesus, I think we'll be flirting with 10% interest within the next 12 to 18 months, because we haven't gotten into this recession yet. It's going to get bad, I think. And I had 2 people tell me how great the rate was, which means that it's higher with other lenders. Wow. Yeah, I think the average rate now is somewhere around 8.25-ish. I really do. I think the rates are getting up there. I think we're going to hit double-digit rates. Those rates turn a lot of starter homes into permanent homes. Yeah, if you can get to start a home, because you're out there competing with. There were people out there, like, the BlackRocks of the world. You had these public, these private equity firms that were buying up all the starter homes, and they still have them. They haven't sold them yet. That might be what tips the scale back the other way when they start unloading these homes that they bought as financial instruments. Right? If they're just doing it strictly for money, they were getting a better return. They were getting like 4% return on it, but now you can get 6 to 8% with a 10-year treasury or something like that. So they're going to sell those homes and move that money into the treasury, was absolutely basically zero risk, as opposed to leaving it in that home where there's a little bit of risk there. There's risk. If the tenants move or whatever, they get caught up in litigation or something like that happens, then they're stuck, losing money. That's what they don't want to lose money. So yeah, those starter homes will become permanent. Dr. B, I had a coworker move out of Cali because of home prices. She was literally paying $4,000 a month in rent, and the house she left got sold for $1.2 million in less than a week. Facts. Surprised it took that long. Yeah, $4,000. Renting a house in California, and you can $4,000, bro. That's a really good price for a house, man. She's probably living somewhere like Valencia, Santa Clarita, Simi, something like that. I doubt if she was living in the city. I doubt if she was in West Hollywood. I doubt if she was in Bel Air. I doubt if she was in Beverly Hills or Century City. Maybe Century City, but it would have been probably closer to $5,500 for a house that was not nearly as modern. And I haven't been to LA in years, but most of the people who were renting homes out there, man, they were living out Woodland Hills, Canoga Park. These places are not amazing. You feel me? They'll redo the house in just like regular neighborhoods. Canoga Park is kind of bad, compared to Woodland Hills, a little bit better, but it's far away from everything. Bro, $4,000, she was doing good. She was doing good. Dr. B continues, that Miami condo is literally more expensive than my house. Yeah, bro. Like, I got a friend who is looking to buy, and this person is a 1%er. So, and they told me, and it's, again, you want to talk about canaries in the coal mine. Talk to your wealthy friends out there. My people were telling me, like, man, we're seeing some great deals. So if you got a condo that, you're looking at a condo or a property out there, and let's say that property they're asking $800, but you got the money. You can go in there offering some ridiculous lowball number, and they'll probably take it, because all the people who want the home can't afford to get the home at the interest rate. Miss AKA, you just said it. They're looking at between like the high 7s, 8, maybe even higher to get into the home, so that it'll fall out of escrow. And the seller wants to sell. So if you come in there, hey man, cash deal done. Let's get it going. So they're gonna take what they can get. So it's money out there, bro. People with the money making a killing right now, and this is just the beginning. You know what I mean? Scam Likely saying St. Pete will become Manhattan prices in the future. Maybe. I mean, I can see it getting there, absolutely, but I don't think it'll stay there. Again, I think if I'm right, I don't know nothing. Like, again, what am I? I'm just some old dude sitting in his attic talking to his computer. Like, I don't know nothing about nothing. This is outside of my wheelhouse. But from what I gather, I don't know how those prices will be sustainable in Central Florida. But St. Pete is nice. On the water and stuff like that, like downtown St. Pete is nice. If any place in this area will be able to sustain those numbers, I would say it will be St. Pete. But maybe some parts of Clearwater, maybe. Nah, I'm thinking St. Pete. because it has that city vibe, but it's not really a big city, you know what I mean? But it feels like you're walking around for 3 or 4 blocks. It feels like you're like in Miami or in New York, you know, in Chicago. So maybe, but you know, a correction is definitely coming. Dr. B, like, I'm really glad I have equity in my home. Yeah, man, that's the thing most people don't have. Sister Candace, what's sad is our service members who are stationed in San Diego and Hawaii who are on fixed incomes and BAH does not cover the rent mortgage payments. Man, that's crazy. And think about it, sis. The money y'all getting now is way more than the money I was getting back in the early 90s when I was in the military. We man, that BAQ we got in the army, it was nothing back then. And it just shows you, again, purchasing power. Even though you're making, let's say you're making the 80,000, you're at the 80,000 percentile, right? You're making percentile. See what happens when you try to talk smart. Let's say you're making $84,000 a year on average, but that money can't buy you what it could buy 15, 20 years ago. It's a problem. It's a real problem. You're making $84,000 a year. What property are you going to buy? Seriously, like you're gonna have to like pull out a map of the country. Like, okay, where can we afford to move? Cincinnati. Like, you got to look at Ohio, Southern Ohio. We're gonna be looking at the Carolinas. We're gonna be looking at Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, in the suburbs, not the city. You feel me? It just changes the way you do business. Like, and if you're not a remote worker, like if you have to be in LA or you have to be in Vegas or you have to be in the Miami area, man, you got a problem. Like, yeah, 10%, bro. I think we're gonna get close to 10%. You know what I mean? And Sister Ken, like, yeah, glad we refinanced at 3%. Yes. And anyone who's refinanced and they're at 3% or lower, they ain't going nowhere. It'd be foolish for them to go anywhere. They're good. They're good. And you know, builders haven't been building. And we got this commercial real estate thing that's about to unravel. It's about to get ugly. It's about to get ugly. You know what I mean? Dr. B was like, she was in LA, but I think like 20 minutes away from the city. Yeah, it's probably was more than that. You know what I mean? She's probably way more than that. If she was in LA, she's probably like 40, 45 minutes away from the city. If you ever talk to her, ask her like, hey, were you in Simi? Were you in Valencia? Were you out there somewhere? If y'all hear some noise, that's my daughter. She made herself something to eat and now she's smacking something. I don't know what she's doing. But that's what that noise is. Trust me, when she starts her Twitch, I'm gonna be making noise in the background on her Twitch because she'll be making noise in the background on mine. Yeah, she heard that. So but yeah, it's crazy out there in California. It is crazy out there. You have people who are living like in San Bernardino, man. They'll drive 2 hours one way to work, bro, and 2 hours back. You work 8 hours, but every day is a 12-hour day. Think about that, bro. That's what they were doing just to save, you know, $300, $400, $500 on a rent per month, which adds up because you got to pay for everything else, like that gas. You're probably buying a car every 4 years because you put so much on there. You know what I mean? And yet for those who did lock in at those lower rates, they hit it. They hit that lick. But if they didn't lock in at lower rates, or if they were just out there, whatever, you know, and again, 8%, 10% really isn't bad if you're old enough to remember the old rates. I can remember the 80s, man. I remember growing up talking about it. Like, you know, people were getting houses and they were like, you know, 15, you know, 18, 20, 21% interest, man. If you go back far enough, it was crazy. But the homes were like $100,000 or less. So, I mean, it's just crazy. And I'd be like, yeah, 2 hours driving, bro, that's painful. Man, yes, that is I would say the average commute, and you know, y'all can look it up. I would say the average commute in the Southern California, like the LA area before COVID, the average commute was probably an hour 15, hour 30, one way. One way. So you're looking at 3 hours on the road every day. 11-hour days. And that's if you had to work, you know, overtime at your job. You never had time for your family. You never had time for your relationship. This is another reason why so many relationships failed. They just didn't see each other. And it, you know, we'll talk about that on another episode. But it was crazy. You miss so much. And it's like, do I go watch my son or daughter's first recital or, first soccer game or baseball or whatever? Or do I go to work and work this overtime? Because you need the money. Man, it is crazy. Miss Katie, she's like, baby girl, stay cooking. She must be a chef by now. Yeah, tell her to send plates to the chat. Yeah, she loves making her she makes quesadillas. She loves. I'm going to teach her how to make some more stuff. But she loves cooking though. She's doing it. I'm going to teach her how to make some French toast and make some pancakes and all that from scratch, not out the box. You know what I mean? We're going to do it for real. But yeah. So let's listen to what Crystal has to say about all this.
Yeah, it's the worst of all worlds. I just saw a report yesterday evening that home prices are ticking up again, hitting highs in nearly 2/3 of major markets. So I'll never forget, Sagar, when we covered a poll of the number of people who were cheering for a housing market decline because they were hoping that maybe prices will come down and I'll have some shot at some point in my life at being able to become a homeowner, which, the way that we have our economy structured is like the way to build sort of stable middle-class prosperity. And it's been the exact opposite. I say it's the worst of all worlds because on the one hand, you have very low supply because a lot of people who have houses don't want to sell because they don't want to have to get a mortgage rate at the, new very high rates. You have those high rates making it so unaffordable for anyone new to get into the game as well. Then you have prices that, have remained high and now are actually ticking up. So this is a report from Black Knight that I'm looking at. They say prices grew by 0.8% in June after slowing for more than a year, pushing prices to record levels in around 60% of the nation's major housing markets. So when you consider very high mortgage rates and record high prices, it's just a disaster for anyone who ever aspires to be able to get into this market. And then you pair it with the last story about all of these landlords that are under financial pressure also because of the rates, and they're trying to hike rents. So renters are getting screwed as well because of that scenario. Housing is this underlying issue that I think gets far too little attention in Washington, but is one of the most important factors in people's quality of life.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
And Crystal hit the nail on the head. I think a lot of people in Washington, especially the elected officials, they don't want to talk about it. They know it's a problem. I think the money people are just so far ahead of it. Like Wall Street and all that, they're so far ahead of it. They've already moved their money. So they're ready for whatever's going to happen. And I think all the rest of us just have our heads in the sand. It's like, man, whatever. It's just, we're on that hamster wheel. We're so busy trying to make ends meet. You're trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. Right? That's what you're trying to do. So you really don't have time to think about all the other stuff. Like, well, I got to do this. Okay, my credit's a little bad. Okay, I can get into this house, but I got to pay 12%. I got to pay 13%. All right. They just do it. Or it's like with the car, I got to have a car. My transmission's about to go out on the other car. I got this long commute. If I can't make it to work, I'm going to get fired. I got to get this car. And it's like, well, do you lease it? You're going to get bent over if you lease it, but you stuck. Like, all right, I'm just going to do this now, and then I'll fix it later. We'll try to save up $5,000, and I'll just go out and buy myself a car. Well, can't buy those anymore. You go $5,000 gets you a junker that would have cost you $200 back in the 90s. It's $5,000 now. That purchasing power, way down. And it's hard to save up money. Let's continue.
We have to continue to stay on top of it. This is one of those where, we hear from everybody, and it's downstream of a lot of things. When you got no property, that means you have no real equity, in terms of society. A lot of it drives political participation. Permanent rentier class is one of the things that we've always striven to make sure that we avoid here in the United States. It has all kinds of social downstream terrible effects, really. And then it really is the number one way to accumulate any sort of intergenerational wealth over the years. It's one of the most important economic markers. I'm not saying things should work this way, but that is just the way it is. If you're going to deny that to the entire new generation, don't be surprised what comes down the pipeline. So we'll continue to keep an eye.
Hey guys, if you like that video,
Man, that's fire right there, man. Y'all got go over there, please, please, please. We will definitely have a link in the description, but go over and subscribe to Breaking Point. Man, they really give you some good in-depth analysis and some breaking news stories that you definitely ain't gonna find in mainstream media. And they try to give you an honest look at it from both sides. But everything they're saying is spot on. I just don't see how the housing market can continue, like housing prices continue to go up as interest rates are going up at the same time. I just don't see it. Jerome Powell has no intention of lowering interest rates anytime soon. He may pause, but he's not going to lower interest rates. He is determined to get inflation to 2% or less. He wants to get it under 2%. That means interest rates are going to continue to go up. I mean, it's just one of those things. Brother Chris Smokey Hats in the building. What's good, fam? I see you, brother. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. But, you know, they were talking about these homes, right? You look at the Tampa market, right? In July of 2023, the median listing home price in Tampa, Florida was $480,000, trending up 7.9% year over year. That's just trending up 7.9, almost 8% in 1 year has gone up. The median listing home price per square foot was $229. The median home sold price was $408,000. So if you're looking to get a home, and the average home, you want to get yourself a decent little home here in Central Florida, right? You're looking at, just call it 400,000, right? That's what you're looking at as a sales price. Looking at 400 grand. You only need 20% down. It's $80,000. And if you haven't had a home before, your first time buyer, you need 80 grand just to put 20% down to get into this home. And again, you don't know who you're dealing with out here. Your interest rates are going to be around 8%, maybe a little higher. But how do you get that $80,000 saved up? Think about that. And the average American is only making between 50 and 65,000, right? We were saying, we saw those numbers earlier. Where are you going to get that money from? Right, to get into the home, people are like, oh, just get it from your family. What if you don't have a family? What if your mom and dad, you don't have a mom and dad, or they don't have any money, which most people don't? And just think about it. And then when the prices start to go down, that same person is going to have to compete with other folks who do have cash, who've been waiting for the prices to come down so they can buy. I was telling you, I got people out there coming in with cash offers. So I don't know. Right? I'm not saying the American dream is dead. I just think the American dream is on pause until we get through this recession, which is coming. It's here, y'all. We've already begun. I just think that once the commercial real estate bubble finally unravels, pops, or whatever you want to say, and a few more small banks, these medium-sized banks go under, and they will, right? Once that happens, we'll see. We'll see. And if you're out there talking to these people, these gurus, these talking heads, everybody's out here telling you that they know what's going to happen, they lying. They don't know what's going to happen. No one does. This is uncharted territory. No one knows what's next. No one. This has never happened before. Everything that's supposed to happen is not happening. Something's going on. I don't know what's propping this particular market up or what's propping up the overall economy. I don't know. You come down here to Florida, Central Florida, man, they got jobs everywhere. If you want a job today here in the Tampa area, you can get one today. Someone will hire you. And I'm talking about $20, $25 an hour job. There are people out there, no training required. We will train you. Paid training. They need people back down here so bad. I saw maybe a year ago, I was driving by some restaurant like Checkers or something like that. They had on their marquee on the sign, work today, get paid today. And I'm thinking, I don't eat a lot of fast food, but I'm definitely not eating there. Like, work today, get paid today. What kind of folks are in there making your burger? Listen, this is crazy. this is this is crazy. This is crazy. I don't know. I don't have any answers, y'all. I'm just right now. It's a great opportunity. Like I said, for those folks who do have some money put away, got a little bit of money. There might be some deals out there to buy yourself maybe a second home, a rental property or something like that. Maybe a year and a half down the road. The banks are going to be looking to unload. I think a lot of people, not a lot, but I think a good sum of folks are going to start losing their homes. That's a horrible thing, but I do believe it's going to happen. People have gotten themselves in over their heads, like Miss AKA lady was saying. Credit is bad. They're maxed out on their credit. And once the credit stops, then it's time to pay the piper, and you ain't got the money. You'd either have to sell your home for what little equity, if any, is in there, or the bank is going to take your home. And you look at what's going on in China right now. China can't get funding anywhere in the world, and they have massive debt out there. I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow. Right? Massive debt. So everybody's worried about China taking over the world and doing this and doing that. China's about to go through it. And America is going to be right behind China. Right behind China. Brother Chris, don't sleep on HYSAs. Those represent a small positive of the Federal Reserve raising interest rates. You can save and have your money compound with this option. I think it was Warren Buffett that said it. Like, when there's blood in the street, that's when it's time to make money. You look at people like Warren Buffett, he's really his cash reserves are up there. He's like ready. He has all his cash ready. He's sitting there waiting to get deals. Warren Buffett being the top of that spectrum. You look at someone like Ben Mahler. Ben Mahler has been cashing out all his properties, and he's raising as much cash as he can, selling cars, selling boats, selling homes, selling whatever he can to get his hands on cash, because he sees it coming. It was like, oh man, it's about to be blood in the streets, baby. It's deals. The deals are coming. So the people who do this, they wait on these cycles. Right. So Ben Mahler's out there getting cash. He's here in the Tampa area. He's out all over. He was just up in Canada looking at some properties, getting rid of and buying some properties. He is making deals. If you guys aren't following Ben Mahler, you should be. You should be. In fact, he has some events coming up here in Tampa. I might have to make it to one of them. But it's a lot going on. There's definitely blood in the streets. It's about to get nasty. There's going to be opportunities out here. These companies, these big corporations and mid-sized corporations, they're walking away from loans. They're walking away from those skyscrapers. They're walking away from these strip malls. They're walking away from conventional malls. They're walking away from brick and mortar. The banks don't want them. There are going to be deals out there. Best believe I got my eye on some of these little smaller, strip malls where like the mom and pop stores be, like the hair stores, the alcohol, maybe a liquor store, a little convenience store. I got my eyes on there. And when I talk to my friends with money, say, hey, here's a deal. I might be able to broker a deal and walk away with, a couple of dollars. They'll give me a finder's fee or something like that. But there are deals out here. And I really believe within the next year, I think it's coming. I think it is coming. Miss AKA lady is agreeing with Brother Chris. Yeah, you can get a CD right now with over a 5% yield on a low minimum and short term. 5%, huh? Ooh, it's not bad. That's not bad. And yeah, Brother Chris, like, I'm always happy to be here. I love the banter and exchange of ideas, man. I love having you here, bro. You know what I mean? I know the chat loves you, man. This is what we do, bro. These are the conversations that, I love having. I mean, we could talk about the crazy stuff. We could do that. I really want to know stuff. We talk about relationships. Trust me, I got tons of stories, guys. I've been out here doing some things. I got stories, right? But I love talking downrange stuff. I like talking about the politics. I want people to, if they can, just kind of take a moment and look around, peek your head up, and just, look around real quick and see what's coming. And maybe you can either A, prepare yourself so it won't hurt as much, or B, take advantage. You might be able to take advantage. You know what I mean? And FAA is saying they're pitching a lifestyle on social media that isn't practical, and the less are gonna want more, just a matter of time. Yep. Protests, riots, just saying. That's always going to be the case. That's the problem when people give stuff like the whole STEMI money thing. People are like, oh, we're just going to get paid. They're just going to pay us. They're going to send us money. They're just going to write us checks. That's a problem. That is a problem. And when people don't get that money, they got to sit there and suffer. Bro, they know where the money at. That goes back to that hood stuff. Trust me, everybody in the hood know where the money at. They know where to go. They know where people got safes in their house. They know where to go. They know what house to run into. Trust me when I tell you. So if you live in a place where it's Second Amendment friendly, you better be getting secure yourself, secure your family, secure your home. You better be hitting the range. And bullets are getting expensive, but you better be hitting the range. It is definitely worth the investment because people in the hood know where the money at. In California, in LA right now, the hood is coming to Bel Air. It's coming to Beverly Hills. It's coming to Century City. It's coming to Studio City, right? They're already doing it. You can have, this was going on a year ago. You can have like a little gathering in your backyard. Somebody going to come walk up in there with them things out. And they're like, everybody put your watch and your wallets in the bag, right? And that's what's going on. Now, people are telling me out there like, yeah, man, we're going to have a party in the backyard. We got to hire armed security. I did a video on this platform right here where a woman was having a house party, and this was in the Hollywood Hills and Beverly Hills, just off of Sunset. And these 3 women just walked into her house, went right upstairs, went into her room and just started stealing her clothes, stealing her bags, stealing whatever money they can find, and walked right out. Yeah, they were on camera. 2 of them got caught right away. It took them a little while to catch the 3rd one, but they did. They caught the woman who got robbed was on Sunset and saw the women who robbed it. It was on her video like, there they are right there. Hey, officer, them 2 ladies robbed me. Here they are right here. They robbed me. And the ladies got arrested. The hood knows where the money's at, period. That's how it works. That's how it works, y'all. That is how it works. Brother Jack, hey, Unc, what do you think about how in your face with the glamour of social media, pitching their lifestyle to people that isn't practical? What long-term effects is this gonna have? I think the social media is just an amplifier. This has been going on forever. You know, you've heard the term keeping up with the Joneses. People always want to fake it till they make it. That's been Hollywood forever. It's been like that in all the big cities forever. Fake it till you make it in the scam artistry and all that. Social media is just an amplification of that. And if we don't raise our children, like one of the things I do with my child is I make sure she understands that social media is fake. Like she has this thing now. She wants to do Twitch. Fine. You do understand. Social media is fake, and we have conversations all the time, and she truly understands it. She understands that virtual reality is just that. It's virtual. It's not real. It's only as real as you are willing to make it. And she understands that as a kid. That's the only way we can deal with it. A lot of people were told to buy into the fake it till you make it. Get that car that Miss A.K. Ailey was talking about. Go out and get that car you can't afford. Go ahead and get that credit card and run up. Go ahead and get you Birkin. You know, get your Birkin, get your Chanel, you know what I mean? Get your Louis, the glasses and all that. Get all that. Run the cards up. And then when it's time for to pay all that stuff up, what are you going to do? If you're a beautiful woman, you might get out there and have to do whatever you got to do to get that bread to maintain that lifestyle. If you're a dude, you might have to get out there and crank, right? So what do? These young people, they go to the fast money. Fast money comes with slow problems. And it is what it is. So the long-term effects are going to be huge, especially for those people who A, don't have parents or people in their lives who care about them, and B, don't listen to them. It doesn't have to come from your mom and your dad. It doesn't have to come from your grandma, your grandpa. It could come from Uncle Saint. It could come from other people out there who will just tell you like, yo, that's not the way to do it. You know what I mean? Get this slow money, bro. All money ain't good money. There's people out there not telling young folks these things, or they are telling the young folks and the young folks ain't listening. And social media is very, very, how did the Native Americans say it, bro? That's very powerful medicine, bro. People see that, they get hooked on it, man. It's that dopamine ain't no joke. So it's hard. It's hard. Everyone's doing their TikTok. Everybody's doing a video. Everybody wants to be seen. Everyone's out there trying to get this attention. Look at my likes. Look at this. Look at that. Faking it. You know what I mean? Posting up next to somebody else's car. I ain't mad at them. You know what I mean? Fake it till you make it. I ain't mad at them. But if no one is telling them the downside, if no one's out there telling them how bad this could be, yeah, it's only going to get worse. Brother Mandrell's in the building. What's good? My favorite snake eater. Green Beret in the building. What's good, fam? I'm glad you're here. But that's definitely going to be a problem. It's definitely going to be a problem, brother Chris. I know a guy whose credit score and his shoe size are the same number. Oh my goodness, bro. That's is crazy. And he tried to get a loan for a new car the other day. He ain't got nothing to lose. And think about it, 4 or 5 years ago, he would have got that loan. They would have put him in a car. Just walk on any dealership. They would have put him in a SRT, right? They'd have put him in a Challenger. They'd have put him in a Charger. They'd have put him in a Camaro. They would have put him in a Maserati. They would have done it. They were doing it when I was in LA, man. They were doing that in the early 2000s, putting people that I knew were broke. Like, how did you get this car, bro? He was putting them in there. They was, hey, here you go, sign here. And all those cars now are at the auction. All those cars at the auctions. He says his credit score and his shoe size is the same number. Wow. That's crazy. Oh, man, that's crazy. And I see the sister Candace and Miss AK. A-Lady is in there chopping it up. That's what's up. But y'all, I'm telling you, man, the American dream is on pause, in my opinion, for now. The American dream is on pause. It's on pause. People, I think the one good thing is going to come out of this, and it probably happens in all these bad cycles, these downturns, relationships go up. Why? People are going to be forced to be with someone. You're not going to be able to afford life on your own. So the women who are out there looking for the being real picky, they're not going to be as picky. They're going to have to come down to, but they're going to be at their level. And the five woman is going to look across the aisle, that five who's a guy, and they're going to get together and work it out. And, maybe it'll work when they get in there like, oh man, he's not that bad. And he'll be happy because he has a woman, and, he's got that Foxy Brown at home. He's got someone, he's not alone. I mean, but I see that coming. I think there's going to be women who are like coming off that high horse. I'm like, you know what? That guy right there is going to be good enough for me. Let's get it on. Let's get with him. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's make this life work. Let's get ourselves together, especially if they're going with the mindset that we're going to fix everything. Let's fix our credit. Let's get our money right. Let's save. Let's get into a home, especially when this is all said and done. I think the home price is going to come down, at least to a point where the high percentage rate, the interest rate isn't going to be that big of a deal. They're going to be able to get it. So those home prices, like that median home here in Central Florida, is going to go from 400, probably drop down to maybe 350, 325, which is even still kind of high. It should be down around 250, 275, to be honest with you. But if it comes down $100,000, that's enough. Okay, we can handle that 8.5, that 9% APR. And then we can get one of these special loans where we're going to have to put down 5, maybe 10%. We save that money because we're working together, especially if they're both making good money. If they're both making 60 grand, that's 120 grand now. So household, they're doing pretty good. They can get themselves a nice place, save some money, be frugal, spend time together. They don't have to do any big things, right? They can just spend time together and go out there and do all the rest of it and get to those goals. I think that will be possibly one of the good things that'll come out of this downturn that we're hitting. Right. And we're going to talk about that on I really want to know side as well. But the bad side is it's going to be a lot of pain. It's going to be a lot of pain. A lot of people losing bad. Banks aren't going to be able to back them. People who've been living on credit is going to be crushed. 401ks are going to get crushed for a little bit. The market is going to tumble a little bit. Bitcoin is going to continue to tumble. I don't know where Bitcoin is. I looked at it. I was talking to someone about it last week. Last time I checked, it was around 26. Ethereum was around 16 or 18. I don't know where it is right now. Well, you know what? Let's look. Let's see. Let's see where it is right now. But I think that's going to go down as well. And understand, guys, I am nobody. I am not. Yeah. Ooh, Bitcoin is at 25.7. Wow. Huh. Bitcoin is down, yo. See if I can find Ethereum. I don't see it. Bitcoin is down. I think it's going to continue to tumble. So it might be opportunities there. It's blood in the street, people. Like, start saving your coins. Go out there and collect your cans. Start getting some money together because there's gonna be some opportunities out there. It's gonna be some opportunities. Let's see where Ethereum is right now. Ethereum's at 1632. Ethereum's actually up 3.20. It's up $3. Keep your eye. Listen, I'm not a big crazy crypto guy, but keep your eye on Bitcoin and Ethereum through this downturn. There was a guy, one of the talking heads I was watching, who's not a crypto guy. He's an old school money guy, and this was about a year and a half ago. And he was saying that, yep, he's like, I can see Bitcoin going to at least 10,000, maybe a little bit below. And then after the recession is over, it's going to go through the roof. And this is a guy, he's like, I'm not even a crypto person, but I can see that happen. This was a year and a half ago. When he made the prediction, Bitcoin was like at 58, 59 a coin. Now look at it, it's down to 25. So I got my eye on that. I got my eye on that. And then there's always precious metals, gold, silver. There's all sorts of stuff out there. So start looking at opportunities. There might be some stuff that's cheap that you can buy, and it's going to be expensive later. Shout out to George Gammon. That's his strategy. He's like, I buy it when it's cheap, I sell it when it's expensive. So, and if you haven't watched George Gammon, we cover a lot of his stuff. We'll be talking about some more of his stuff on here later this week. So yeah, guys, get your head up. Get your head up. Casual Germs in the building. What's good, fam? Good to see you. How you doing? It's like I finally have some money to invest in crypto, and I don't want to buy any. Not yet, man. Keep your eye on it, bro. Keep your eye on it. Also, like I said, keep your eye on gold. Keep your eye on silver. George Gammon, he's got money in uranium. I don't know how you store that, but you know what I mean? There's some options out there, man. Look at real estate. And now is a good time to hold your cash. If you got cash, just hold on to it and wait for the deal that you're looking for. Wait for your deal, bro. So it's crazy out here. Miss AKA lady, you're right. It's easier to get into a car, not that much of a flex for a depreciating asset. People got to stop killing themselves financially because they want because they care what other folks think. Facts. And like I said, Brother Jack, what he was asking about social media, it's a fact. Social media is just destroying a lot of these young folks and some of these old folks, man. These people out here flexing, doing what they're doing, selling courses and this and that. Just be careful. Your money, do what you want with it. My thing is, if I'm going to buy something from someone, does it add value to me? That's all I care about. If I'm going to buy someone's ebook, or if I'm going to buy someone's course, or if I'm going to go to someone's seminar, does it add value to me? And is it worth taking a risk? And if the answer is yes, then I'll pay for it. If the answer is no, then I won't do it. And that's what it boils down to. And I'm a networker. So for me, a lot of it is, well, who's going to be here? Is this someone I really want to network with? Yes, I'll go ahead and make that investment so I can get to that person, get some FaceTime, and then I can continue with whatever it is I'm doing. But be careful. It's going to be a lot of people trying to get your money right now. And there's going to be some deals out there. So if you want to invest in something like crypto, if you want to invest in precious metals, if you want to invest in real estate, over the next 8 to 16 months, you're going to get some opportunities. You're going to get some opportunities. And Brother Chris, I agree with the chat regarding the whole living to impress others. Those who live on borrowed credit are about to get their stuff pushed in if they haven't already. Miss AKA lady has a great point. Facts. Miss AKA lady, she on fire. She is on fire. Shout out to her, man. Matter of fact, let's give Miss AKA lady a Don DeMarco for being on point. And I'm wrapping up. I'm glad you guys rocked out with me. This was fun. This was a good talk. We're going to continue to have this discussion. This is just the beginning, guys. This is one thing I really want to stress. This is just the beginning. We haven't gotten to the pain yet. We're just to the point where we can see the rough waters ahead if you're looking. Like, oh, that looks bad. Right? Like, oh, I can see the pain coming. So, prepare yourself. Those Navy people, what y'all say, Sister Candace, batten down the hatches? Like, batten down the hatches. Secure yourself. You know what I mean? Like in the airborne army, we use the term hold what you got. Hold what you got. It's about to get rough. Right? But There's going to be opportunities here, even for us regular folk. There might be some opportunities to turn a quick buck, in the sense that we can get a good opportunity and maybe get another source of income going. It's going to be some opportunities out here. Be careful. Be smart. Don't be afraid to take these chances, but make sure you do your due diligence. All right. So here it is right there, man. Is the average American broke? Yes. Right. Our purchasing power gone. Is the American dream gone? And I would say no. I just think the American dream is on pause for a bit. That's all. It's on pause. We're just going through these phases, y'all. We're just going through these phases. So that's it. I'm done. I appreciate y'all rocking out with me. This has been fun. Y'all know how we get down on Downrange Podcast. So shout out to Shushu, because we have an outro as well. So I'm DL Saint. This is the Downrange Podcast. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Of course, this outro says, I really want to know, but y'all know what it is. It's all fun. We're under the same umbrella. It is what it is. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.